This bread pudding to you, and then I've actually made a couple at home, and I hope you're going to try it, and I'm sure you're going to agree that it's lovely. I mean, people come into my tea room and they say, please tell me you've got the bread pudding on there. So anyway, we're going to start now, and I hope you enjoy. Okay. Okay, right, you take that. John, where are you? Where is he? Is he hiding? Have you got the nutmeg or the cinnamon? Okay. All right, okay. Now, is that okay? Is that okay, Drew? Okay. Now, I hope there are no health inspectors among you, because there's no way that I'm going to wear one of those awful, ghastly nets that one is supposed to put on one's head, and neither am I prepared to wear the plastic gloves that one has to wear in a restaurant. So forgive me for that. Now today, oh, by the way, anyone give you 3 guesses as to where I'm from? No, madam, I'm not from Afghanistan. And no, sir, I'm not from Poland either. I am representing our Queen and country. I'm from England, and I'm on loan. I'm on loan to you. And today I'm just going to very simply show you how to make a bread pudding. Now, it will have to be simple because, as you can see, I'm slumming it. I have no oven, no nothing, and so I'm just going to do the best I can. And I know that you're all very, very up on your food. You all wouldn't be in the gourmet club otherwise. So I'm going to do my best. And then I'm going to give you a trial taste. Well, it's not a trial. You're going to have a taste of one that I cooked earlier. Anyway, before I get into that, I want to ask you something. Did anyone get an invite to the royal wedding? No? No, looking at the lot of you, I'm not the least surprised. Well, I have to tell you now, I do know why your good president didn't get an invite. His wife was too sort of a little bit chummy with our good queen. In fact, let me tell you now, she does not like to be touched by anybody, not even her husband. Well, anyway, I know why I didn't get an invite. So let me just, before I do this bread pudding, let me just tell you why I didn't get an invite. Now, our good queen was over here some 3 years ago up in New York or whatever, whinging about the fact she was down to her last 90 million. Well, thought I can't imagine what that must be like, down to your last 90 million. I don't suppose any of you can imagine either. So, you know, I thought, well, perhaps she's going to cut down on a few of the hairdressing, a bit of the pedicure and all the rest, you know. And I thought, I know what's going to happen. The first thing that will happen is they will be shutting off the electricity at Buckingham Palace. So I sent her a little email, and I said, Lizzie, darling, I said, I'm going to knit you a little scarf, but until you get it, I suggest if you get too cold, your little corgi dogs, have you seen those little corgis, the long things? I said, if you chop off their legs and push them towards the door, they make excellent draft excluders. Well, I, in the meantime, knitted the scarf, and I have to tell you, it's many, many years since I've actually knitted. So there were rather a lot of holes, I'm afraid. Well, I decided at one point, there were so many holes. I don't like to say holes, that's so negative, isn't it? I like to say O's. Well, there were so many O's, I thought, well, actually, maybe, I had an epiphany, maybe this is a goodbye gift for Oprah. Oh, Oprah, help me out. I know this is America, but you, yeah. Oh, Oprah? Okay. All right, then. Anyway, so suddenly they announced that this royal wedding is going to take place. And guess what? It's going to cost a staggering 40 million. I thought, no, this is not right. Here I am, knitting you a scarf because I'm your good subject from across the pond. And here you are, splashing out like that. No, no, no. So I wrote a very stiff letter to the palace. I said, Lizzie, darling, rethink. This is not the time for frivolous spending. No, 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 no. I said, I've come up, I tell you what, I said, scrap the plans now. I've come up with what I think is a rather splendid plan. I said, pop the happy couple on a plane. They can come to Florida quite easily. I know they're not the 99 pound deals anymore, but I mean, it won't be too expensive. They can stay in the Grand Floridian. Am I doing well so far? Come on, please tell me. I mean, have you ever seen the Grand Floridian? Yes, it's an excellent hotel. And I said, and they can stand in line with all the Japanese waiting for the Cinderella coach. And I'll offer my services as bridesmaid for nothing. Now, I thought she'd be on the phone the next day saying, darling, it's on. Instead, I'm totally cold-shouldered, snubbed, no invite whatsoever to the wedding. Now, I know Fergie didn't get to go, but I've done no toe-sucking. There is no scandal involving me. Now, did you see the two daughters with theirs? Did you see the two daughters, Fergie's two daughters? Did you see the one with the hat that went all... I just wanted to pick her up and pop her on the top of my TV to see if she could improve the reception. Really, I did. I don't care the fact that it was sold for all that money afterwards. She did look daft. There's no question of it. So anyway, I was totally miffed about it, and so I wrote another stiff letter, and I said, Lizzie, I'm sorry. I am unfriending you from Facebook. You can get off my Twitter, and if you think you can sort the problem out, do not send Camilla. I said, if she turns up at my tea room bearing good tidings from you, I'm going to say, get yourself down to Dunkin' Donuts where you belong. After what you did to my friend, Lady Diana, you're not getting a cucumber sandwich out of me, I promise you. Anyway, she eventually did send me something, thinking this would sort it all out. A rotty old tea towel of the happy couple. She thought that could do it. What a little cheapskate. So I ignored her still, and so she sent me a bag. My. She must have spent a lot of that 90 million buying me this, wasn't she? Anyway. Now we've gone from the royal wedding, and now it's the whole baby thing, isn't it? And I tell you something, I could only just about cope with your whole presidential elections that went on for hours and months, every day. Every TV time you switch the TV on, it was that ridiculous presidential race that went on, that got into your head, and you think, I don't care who it is in the end, just get it over with. We get that over with, and then we have a royal baby. And so now, every time you switch on the TV, it's about that. Oh, it's her lump. Oh, what's she eating? She'll never be able to go out at night and join you lot in eating lobster linguine, will she? She'll have that handle there. What do you think you're doing? Go back to the palace now. We've got to look after your health. And I have to say, I think you guys are so obsessed with our royalty. Even when the wedding was taking place, there was every night there was stuff on it. Even down to, I was watching one show, and they were talking about what underwear she'd be wearing on her wedding night. I thought, help me out, give the man a surprise. So anyway, I don't know. Anyway, here I am. I'm absolutely on loan for a period of time. Now, I tell you something, there is a vicious rumour going round. And if you hear it, I want you to squash it. The rumour is that I have been locked up for the last 20 years for trying to impersonate royalty. It is a rumour, it is a lie, I have never done it, I am royalty, I don't need to prove it. And with that in mind, we'll get on with the show. Okay, now I've forgotten my little bell. I always have a little bell that I ring, and my butler brings me everything that I need. Well, I failed to bring it tonight, so I don't know. Does that work? You've forgotten something. I can see there's something missing here. Blenkinsop, get your butt here. Come on, come on. Thank you, thank you. Right, you were supposed to put it all out. There was everything.
I'm so sorry, madam.
Yeah, so you should. So you should. There'll be no supper for you tonight, dear, I can tell you that. All right. First of all, now we're going to do bread pudding, and I didn't know whether to do the princely version or the pauper version. And looking at you, I think we're going to run with the pauper version. Yes, okay, so what we're going to do is we've got to have bread. Now, I don't know whether you know this. This is an absolute true fact, that the staler the bread, the better the bread pudding. Did any of you know that? Did you? Did you? You did or you didn't, madam? You did or you... You did? I'm glad to hear it. So this was actually a fresh loaf, so I actually decided to lay it out overnight so that I could make it stiffer than what it is, okay? And we're going to, first thing we're going to, now this is a brilliant, honestly, I'm promising you, if you make a really, really good bread pudding, you will have lots of dinner parties. People will come to them, okay? Because even though it's a basic dish, I believe it was started, you know, after the war or something, when there was only bread, okay? So it's kind of like, it really is a sort of pauper's meal. But if you make it right, it really is truly scrumptious. Isn't there a song? Truly scrumptious. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so we're going to get our dish, which is here. Oh, sorry, now I'm throwing it around the place already. I normally do. And we're going to butter the bottom. Now, obviously, one would have greaseproof paper. And as I said, I hope there's no health inspectors hanging around. And don't worry, those were done properly and respectably. This will just be for John to eat. Okay, and we grease the bottom of the... Can you see that? Nicely greased? Okay, loads of it. Doesn't matter how much you put. Although we have to mind the calories. I have a problem, you know, and that is, since I've come to America, I've put on rather a lot of weight. In fact, I've gone up a bra size with every week. And so I don't know what I can do about that. I mean, just about everything is so fattening. And if it's not fattening, it normally isn't enjoyable, is it? Okay, so right, now having done that, I'm going to butter my bread, okay? So... I don't know how to show you this, you know. I mean, if I had my own show or studio, it'd all be up here, wouldn't it? And there'd be ovens, there'd be people running around after me, wouldn't there, dear? Yes. He's actually very good at the job, aren't you, dear? And you know something? I do sell little bells in my tea room. And some of the ladies say to me, oh, can I purchase one? I say, darlings, yes. I say, but I need to ask you this. Is your husband used to coming to your service when a bell's rung? And if they say no, I say, well, now really isn't the time to start. You do have to get them right at the beginning. I said to my husband, I said, if you want a happy marriage, you'll treat me like the Queen of England. All right, now look, we've done got lots of it to do here, okay? And we're slopping it. The reason I'm doing it like that is because it's going to get itself buttered on the other side, okay? There we go. Right, let's start with that. Okay, and then we're going to cut it, okay? Try hard not to cut your fingers off. Gets rather messy otherwise, doesn't it? Okay, and then we're going to place it. Look, can I show you? Can I show you? Even the men can do this. This is so simple. There we go, look. We're going to do it like that. I used to do it with fingers, like the little egg dippy fingers. But this is far quicker, you know, ladies. Much easier to do. So that's what we're going to do there. Okay? Paula Dean, eat your heart out. That's what I say. Okay, then we're going to go between. See what I'm doing? I'm putting the little bits in between there. I saw Gordon Ramsay making his one, and some friends said to me, you know, you should to try and get on his show. And I said I could never go on his show. If I went on his, I'd give him a clip on the ear, and I'd say, what's the point of a clean kitchen if you've got a mouth like a sewer? I'd tell him I would. Oh, and the other thing is, oh, what's those cakes called? No, I've forgotten what they're called. Come on, the big cakes that everyone's... Cupcakes. Cupcake Wars rang me. They really did. And the guy said, my name's James, and I would like you to interview... We're looking for a quirky English woman. I thought, well, they're looking in the wrong place then, aren't they? For Cupcake Wars. And I said, oh, darling. I said, it's not for me. I said, I'm from England. We only do fairy cakes there. You know what fairy cakes are? They're tiny little cakes. So anyway, I haven't been on Cupcake Wars as a result. This does take time, you know, honestly. Giles, if I knew better, I'd get you doing this. Okay, how are we doing? There we go. Okay, I'm going to call that a day with the bottom layer. All right. Then we are going to put some raisins. Okay, these things. Ooh, Oh, by the way, I never, ever, ever measure. Ever, okay? It's a smidgen of this, a tad of that, a dollop of this. This is how I work. I mean, and so when in my tea room they say, oh, please, 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 excuse me, let's keep ourselves clean while we're at it. When they say to me, when are you going to do a cookery book? I say, darlings, I don't think I'd better, because you're not going to be able to understand anything. I mean, what is a smidgen of this and a tad of that and a dollop of this? So up to date, I have not done it. Now we're going to, we're going for the golden raisins. These are wonderful things. They're much plumper than the raisins, and they are very, very good. So we're going to put a load of those in, okay? Now, this is something that most people don't do, and you don't have to do, okay? But I like to put orange and lemon. And I'm promising you, it makes it very, very nice. So I'm just going to chop up. Okay, it cooks, so it doesn't matter, you know, you would ordinarily grate, you don't have to, because it cooks, it's not kind of too much. So we're going to put a bit of that, okay, chop, 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 chop. Again, careful of your little fingies. Okay, right, so we have orange and lemon there, all chopped up. And we are going to sprinkle that all over it. Grand stuff, okay? Is that, oh yes, darling, yes, that's where the best bit is. I'm telling you something, you Americans, everything's pasteurized, they take all the goodness out of everything. Your flour is, well, it's not like flour, really. So you want the goodness in, don't you? You want to eat healthy. So yes, I say keep the rind on. It's very nice. And of course, because it cooks, you don't even know it's there. It just gives it it almost gives it a Christmassy taste, okay? Now, if you want to go one step further, you'll do this. Apricot jam. Oh, darlings, a dab of that in there will make all the difference. Or chop up a few apricots. Now, a plain bread pudding will not have the fruit in. It'll only have the raisins and the sultanas. That is true. But if you want something a bit more upmarket, and if you want your friends to go home and say, my goodness, that was wonderful, instead of cheapskate, you know, didn't think much of her, you're going to do that. You're going to add a little bit of that, because it's going to make it really, really nice. Okay, now I've got to go back for 1 minute more to making these. And you can ask any question you like, as long as it isn't too personal. Okay. There we go. Ooh, trying to get this. Right, okay. As I say, the staler the bread, the better. Oh, and there's another thing. If you like doing bread puddings and you want to do a really fancy one, whiskey and brown bread, very good. I don't serve it in the tea room. I did it one day and all the ladies wanted it. And I said, darlings, you're not getting it. I do not want you tripping out of this tea room and under the wheels of an oncoming truck. I know you lot, you sue at any excuse. So, but brown bread and whiskey is a excellent, excellent way to do a upmarket, upscale. I don't know, darling, try me.
I wondered why you're using margarine instead of butter.
We're doing the pauper's version, darling. We're doing the pauper's version. You understand that? Yes, okay. You're allowed to use butter if you want. But I'm doing the cheapskate method, and I'm, you know, looking at you lot. Some of you will too, I'm sure you. Okay. Oh, do you know? I tell you something I've forgotten. Oh shucks. Excuse me. There you go. It's because I'm doing it with not the real sucre. Anyone know what sucre is? Sugar. Okay. You need to sprinkle some of that on. Sugar, sucre. French. Okay, look, I do have a problem. You have changed everything. Our language is no longer common at all. Herbs. Excuse me, can we discuss this? I need to get this off my chest. Herbs is with an H. I hear you all saying, oh, does this have herbs? Excuse me? It is phony French to be talking like that, let me tell you now. If God had intended herbs to be herbs, he would have taken the H off himself. And as he was here before any of us, I do think he should have some say in the matter. And then there's that Herbie rides again. Herbie, the little yellow car. Is he Herbie? Is he? Is he? No, he's not. So I don't know where you're getting him. Oh, and then, excuse me, another one. Parmesan. Excuse me, it's Parmesan. Parmesan cheese. You say, oh, have you any Parmesan? Well, if you were in Europe and you said that to the waiter, he'd direct you to the loo. Oh, the toilet, the bathroom. It's Parmesan. Parmesan. And then I have another little issue. Your writing skills, they're appalling. Absolutely appalling. You've taken the U out of most things, mould, everything. Is this true? Am I just making it up? I am not. No, you have. You have. And I tell you something, donut, I'm going to tell you, in front of live camera, donut is spelled D-O-U-G-H-N-U-T. Don't you think that by taking the U-G-H out, it takes half the calories off of one? It does not. It doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. I absolutely don't know. Anyway, here I am. I'm trying to finish off this on my own because my butler there thinks it's time to finish. He thought he came to America to retire. Did you, dear? Did you? Did you really honestly think I would allow you to retire? Did you? Did you? No, the man's clearly bonkers. Okay. There we go. We're almost there. Wonderful, wonderful. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Right, put a bit down the sides, okay? And then you're going to sprinkle yet again more of the raisins, more of the golden raisins. We call them sultanas in England. Sultanas, do you hear that? That's golden raisins, just in case you didn't know. And zucchini. We don't call it zucchini. What do we call it? We don't call it zucchini, do we? Oh, he's forgotten. He's brain dead now. It's that time of night. It's like the villages. Everything shuts down at 9, doesn't it? It shuts down at 9. I've been told it's because of a certain pill that it's shut down at 9. Everybody goes home. I don't know if there's any truth in that. But anyway, you're going to do a bit more of this on the top. How are you coping with the bugs out here? Are you coping with them? I'm not. I tell you something, I thought the worst thing I would have to contend with in coming here were those things. I had read a story about a lady taking her poodle for a walk by the lake, and it became a lunchtime snack for a gator. So I was very worried. I said, I don't know that I want to come to Florida because of that. Anyway, that isn't the worst thing at all. The worst thing is the bugs. There's so many of them. We were going into the tea room one day, and John was opening up, and he suddenly started running down the road. And I thought, what's the problem? Right on the front door was the most massive bug that I've ever seen. You know, you could have casseroled it and fed a family of 6 for a week, I'm telling you. Anyway, I then go back to the home, and there's a message on the door, and it's from the pest control chap, and it says, "Dear Mrs. Bennett, you have unwanted guests living under your house." Excuse me, I thought, have John and Kate arrived? Plus they're 8. Or worse still, is it the Kardashians? Anyway, I knew it couldn't be them because there wasn't broken bottles all over the place. But anyway, so I tried to get John to go under there. I bought him a sling and some mothballs, and I said, get under there. I said, do you want to wake up and find just my bare bones in the bed? He didn't answer. Okay, now look. Oh, I need this. Excuse me. I can't even ring a bell. Could you hold this for me? We need to remind them of where we come from. And the fact that if it wasn't for the jolly French, they'd be speaking proper English. They'd be speaking proper English. Okay, don't overdo it, dear. Okay, right. Now then, listen, we're going to put egg and milk. We're going to whisk it together. Now, I'm going to say to you, I'm going to put 3 in here, but I'm going to be honest, if you're hard up, you can get away with just 1. And as I say, some of you are dressed like you only want to use 1 egg. Okay, so we're going to whisk those. I haven't got a whisk with me. Unfortunately, we're all improvisation here. Okay, and we're going to put some milk. Excuse me, your duties are not over. Could you pour some milk into here for me? My goodness. He's such a happy soul, you know. No, in. in the right place, honestly. No, no, more. What on earth are you doing, dear? You will not be getting any supper. I'm sorry. That's it. Okay. Normally, I would have a bowl, and it would be filled to capacity for this. And then you're going to put vanilla essence. Now, again, if you are doing the expensive Prince version as opposed to the pauper version, you will use a fresh vanilla pod. You will put a vanilla pod in a pan of milk, and you will let it almost come to the boil, and then you will let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and you will take it off, pour out the milk, you're going to use the milk, and then you're going to open the pod and scrape out the vanilla and stir it in. Now that is the best, but it's a whole heap of work, and I know you lot. You don't want work. You're out eating, dining, and partying all day long. So this is the next best option. The other thing is, instead of milk, you can use cream. Again, it's the expensive option. It will be just as good, well, almost as good, if you actually use milk. So what you would do is, he hasn't opened it all for me. I'm going to get muscles, dear, doing it this way. I'm going to fill that up to the brim, okay? Then I'm going to give it a stir. I would have a whisk normally, okay, if I was in my own tea room. And then you're going to pour it all over your bread pudding. Now, if you don't want it too sweet, which I don't, because you've got all that fruit, you would add more sugar. Now, what you're going to do now, excuse me, no health inspector still here? You're going to press it down with your little fingies, okay? And in this case, I'm going to, actually, no, I'm not, because I've got to take this home like this, as I'm not actually going to cook it here. Now, listen, you then need to pop it in an oven on about 350 and keep checking it, say about an hour. And that will rise, believe it or not. And then the final finale is this. Take some of your apricot jam, take a tablespoon or whatever, or that spoon, dessert spoon, and put it in the microwave for 20 seconds until it's gooey, and take a pastry brush, and it'll all have come up like this. And while it's still hot, brush apricot jam all over it, and then sprinkle it with caster sugar. Now, you don't call it caster sugar, but it's not granulated, and it's not the... Is it a confectioner's sugar? It's a fine one. It's confectioner's is like the powder, but that disappears, whereas the medium one, not the granulated, but the other, you'll still see it, and it's got a real glow on it. Now, Giles, could you just bring me the one that I cooked earlier, please? Make yourself useful for once. All right, now here's one that I cooked earlier, all right? Can you see the apricot jam on it? Okay, now then, this is ordinary sugar, but look, as soon as you do that, look how gorgeous that looks, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? Now then, there is only one way to serve English bread pudding. Anything else is utterly criminal, and it should be off with your head. English custard, darling. You've got to have English custard. Now, I'm going to give you, I haven't got time to show you how to make all of that, but otherwise make a creme brulee and put it on top. Maybe I'll come back and show you how to do that. But if you pour that over the top, oh, it is to die for, and it becomes an absolutely excellent dessert fit for a king, that I promise you. Now, it is fattening, so you really, really don't want to eat too much. Well, maybe you do, but anyway, there it is, bread pudding with English custard. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make it just that little bit special, you'll put a little bit of alcohol. Yeah, a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of rum, something in the custard, and you'll have something even more divine. But there you go, that is it. The one that I've done for you is the Prince's one. I didn't think I'd give you the pauper's one, but there it is. Do have fun making it. It's so easy. And guys, in this time when money, you know, when we're all trying to look after the pennies and everything, as we all are. It's just such a cheap and nutritious and excellent and wonderful dessert to make. So go ahead and have yourself a try.